Welcome to another edition of Church Media Design TV tips, tricks, and how-to for you, the Church Media Designer. Well, I'm your host, Brad Zimmerman, and with me, as always, it's the three wise men in Jesus. We have, of course, Little Whitey, named after myself, Dwight Schrute, Colonel Sanders, and of course, Jesus Christ, the Son of the Lord Most High. Well, on this week's episode of Church Media Design TV, we're going to catch up on some things you've missed. So we're going to cover a whole bunch of great news stuff. We're going to answer some of your questions. We're going to give you some great freebies. And in the end of it all, we're going to let you know how you can win yourself. Well, we'll let you know what you can win in just a little bit. So if the three wise men in Jesus are ready, let's get into it. Well, last week we finished up a series on green screening, and we talked about how we set up our studio here as well as how we green screen this actual shot and helped you learn some of the basics inside After Effects. And then we also gave you some footage that you could green screen yourself and do some crazy stuff with, well, me doing weird things. Well, sorry first off that the footage didn't get up on time. It was a little bit late in getting that uploaded, but the footage is online and you can go get that in the show notes for this week and last week and every week of this contest. It's going to run for about a month or so, so you have quite a bit of time to screw around with this footage. But what I want you to do is take this footage, use whatever clips you want from it, green screen me doing whatever you want me to be doing. Hopefully it's appropriate or else it won't be used in the contest. And then I want you to upload it to Vimeo.com, Vimeo.com. Send me the link to the video and make sure you can actually download this video from Vimeo because we need to be able to save that video out. And you're going to upload that video of whatever you've done and submit that to, for our contest. Now, the winner of the contest will actually get a green screen. We're going to make the fabric for you of the green screen, and then we're going to give you the plans of the PVC pipe that you'll need to buy to actually assemble the green screen, because I don't really want to ship PVC pipe through the mail because it'd be more expensive than you going to a store and buying it, because it will be a few dollars. So, but you'll get your own green screen so you can start doing your own green screen footage. So that's one of the first bit of news items. The next thing is our friends over at Collide Magazine are launching The Collide Show, and they have posted up on Vimeo a little video of Prompt or Trouble, and their show is going to be launching in October sometime. So check CollideMagazine.com and see if The Collide Show has posted by the time that this episode has aired, because I'm not sure if it has aired by then. And the graphics you see at the beginning and the end of this video were done by Barton Dahmer, I think is how you say his last name. And Barton he's in charge of a lot of graphics for the whole RT Media Group, for Worship House, Collide Magazine, Echo Conference, and Worship House Media. So he's in charge of a lot of stuff for that, and he does amazing graphics. You can see some of his work on a bunch of different websites, and he does some different things for skateboard companies, and he's got a really, really great style. And he just launched a blog called AlreadyBeenChewed.net, serving up fresh media ideas for churches because nobody likes to feed something that's already been chewed. Or to be fed something, that is. And he's got some great ideas and some great different things on here. Program with a Purpose, worship backgrounds, and this is a post that he just did recently and talks about, you know, what to do with worship backgrounds and how to use the worship background to match the emotion of the time and the song and some different things like that. So it's a great site to check out. He also has his Flickr feed, and you'll find out behind the scenes information, like the new graphic for Collide for next year has already been, or not Collide, for Echo Conference has been posted for next year. So that's something great you can check out as well. Now, the next thing on our agenda, we have a whole ton of news today, as you can see. Next thing on our agenda is Catalyst. And you can find out about Catalyst if you go over to catalystconference.com or catalystspace.com. Catalyst Space is kind of their year-round site. And on there, they have all sorts of different information. And you can also go to mogulus.com/catalystspace. And on this site, they have live streaming video from the conference. Now, Catalyst is on the it actually starts tomorrow on October 8th. And they're actually showing live feed from the conference as we speak right now. So it's pretty cool what's going on their live feed, but you also get to see a bunch of other stuff on there. And if you go over to CatalystBackstage.com, Catalyst has a million different sites because of the wide range of speakers, and this is the creme de la creme of pastoral and church conferences. They have the best of speakers and bands and artists, and they're doing a whole bunch of new stuff, as well as Catalyst West Coast, in which they just announced that Hillsong United will be playing at that conference and leading worship there, which is pretty amazing. But Catalyst Backstage is a whole bunch of different cool free stuff that they got going on here. Or not free stuff, behind the scenes info about the conference. So that's pretty cool, and you can check that out there. Now, going along with church resources like Catalyst, Relevant Magazine has just relaunched their they used to have this church network, the Relevant Network package, which was this bi-monthly package that had resources for churches and had a few magazines in it and all that kind of stuff. Well, they've redone the whole thing, and now it's called newministry.com, N-E-U-E. And you can go to newministry.com and find out all sorts about the whole new ministry. Now, basically what new is New Quarterly is a full-on book. It's a 212-page book that they're putting out 4 times a year, and they're doing it less during the year, but trying to pack it with better content and have it be something that it's not a magazine or something that you just kind of look at and throw away a few weeks later. It's actually something you use and look back to over time, because the things inside this New Quarterly are so relevant to your ministry that you'll need to use it often. And so they're trying to give you compelling content that your ministry can use. So New Quarterly comes out quarterly, and you get the magazine as well as you get a whole bunch of stuff. But the cool thing about newministry.com is they have new resources, and you can go to New Resources is actually the box where you get all sorts of different stuff. Newministry.com has downloads, and you can get message downloads, small group downloads, and even worship downloads. And one of the cool things about the worship downloads is they actually have on here like chord charts for albums, for popular worship albums from the actual artists. So you can go on here and you can get Hillsong Live, the Savior King album, or Desperation Band's Everyone Overcome album. You can get all of the charts for those albums for free on this website, as well as you can get music downloads from different artists and chord charts and all sorts of different stuff on here. So it's pretty cool, all of the stuff they have on there. Now, going along with chord charts and that kind of thing, I actually lead worship in middle school, 2 different middle school ministries, and I have a whole bunch of fun doing that. And one thing that I'm always looking for is chord charts. Well, a place that you can go to is guitarpraise.com. Now, I think it's guitarpraise.com. Let's look it up real quick. I forgot to bookmark this one. It's actually guitarpraise.blogspot.com. And Guitar Praise has a whole bunch of guitar tabs for all of these different great songs. I was wanting to do Counting on God by Desperation Band, and he had a video of how to do all the different lead lines. Very easy to follow and really, really good stuff. And it has it for electric, bass, acoustic, and then different arrangements and all sorts of different stuff. Well, one thing he just recently launched is Wiki Guitar Praise, in which it's a user submitted community of song chord charts. So I'd encourage you to check out, it's wikipraise.wetpaint.com. So you can check that out, and it has a whole bunch of stuff from Hillsong, Hillsong United, David Crowder Band, Chris Tomlin, Delirious, Desperation Band, the whole 9 yards. So that's a great place to check out. Now, speaking of Desperation Band, New Life Church is released a new album called Counting on God. Now they've redone a couple of old songs, kind of taking cues from Hillsong, where Hillsong United will release some songs on their CD, and then Hillsong Church will put out an album with a few of those songs plus a few new ones. But this, I've listened through the samples on their e-card page, and I'll actually have a link to this e-card on the website. In this e-card, you can listen through every track, samples, and sometimes even full sections of these songs, and hear the stories about these songs, and send this to a friend and get links to where to buy this on iTunes. It's only $10 on iTunes, and it looks like it's going to be a great album. I loved all the songs, and they have such talented writers like Jared Anderson, who's writing on this album, as well as some other guys from Desperation Band that are helping out on this New Life Worship album. So I'd encourage you guys to check that out. Now, one of the last things that I'm going to talk about is our good friends at LifeChurch.tv, who came out with the Bible app for the iPhone. Got my my iPhone right here, and you can't really, maybe Adam can zoom in, but the Bible app is YouVersion.com. Is the original site, and the Bible app is just amazing. And hopefully Adam can zoom in on my awesomely shaky hand on my iPhone. I'll put it on the table because that'll be a lot easier. But anyway, so YouVersion.com, they made the Bible app, and it's actually, one of the sites I go to is AppCraver.com, and they actually have a listing of iPhone apps and reviews and that kind of stuff. And AppCraver actually said that this was their only 10 out of 10 application that they've talked about. And these aren't Christian guys, they're just reviewing apps for the iPhone. And this Bible app is awesome. It has some downloadable apps, and it has some online apps, and it's totally for free. Well, the Bible app is finally coming to the BlackBerry. So you can get the Bible app for the BlackBerry. It's free, and it's not quite up to speed, but they've released it, and they're going to continue to make changes and get it up there to the quality of their iPhone app. So it's pretty cool. You can find out more about that at swerve.lifechurch.tv and find out more there. So that's a whole bunch of really cool stuff that maybe you've missed or maybe you did know about, but I wanted to make sure you guys were in the loop of resources and information for your church out there on the web. Well, this week we're getting caught up on some viewer emails, and our first email comes from Matt Paisley, and Matt writes, when you record with a green screen, can you use a regular consumer-grade digital camera, or do you need to use a professional camera? Our budget is skimpy, just like everyone else's. Well, he's right. Everyone's budget is pretty skimpy. My budget's tiny. Even though we might have a nice camera, I'm in debt just like the rest of this country. But the government's going to bail us out. Not really. But he brings up a good question. Now, we use a high-definition camera, but you don't have to use that. I've actually shot with a non-high def. It was still a 3-chip camera. It was pretty nice, but it was non-high def. But we shot it on an orange wall and shot regular, like my skin tones. Now, an orange wall with white guy skin tones, you're going to have a hard time keying that out. And I pulled it off. The key wasn't amazing, but it worked okay. So you can use whatever camera you want. You're just going to have an easier time with the more color depth you have. So if you have a 422 color depth, you're going to have a better than a 420 color depth. Or a 442 instead of a 422. I'm getting it all screwed up in my head. But anyway, the better camera you have, usually the easier time you're going to have with your key because of the amount of colors it uses. But a lot of it, you can use a consumer camera. You just need to be mindful of how you're shooting. So yet again, you need to make sure your green screen is lit individually and that your talent is lit in front of it. You want to make sure your talent's really far away from your green screen. You also want to make sure your camera's zoomed in, because then your background is blurrier than your foreground, so it's going to blur those pixels together and you're going to have less color variation. So whatever camera you want to use, you can use. It just might be a little harder to key than other cameras. Now our next question comes from Adam Tootle. I'm not really sure how to say your last name because I'm not the brightest of the bunch as far as reading goes. But anyway, hey man, I have a question about some 3D text. This goes back to a few weeks ago when we did our 3D text series inside Blender. I watched the episodes on Blender. Awesome job, by the way. Thank you. But I found some absolutely amazing looking text effects that I'd like to try. And I was wondering if you knew a program that was strictly 3D text. I have access to a copy of 3D Max, but I'd rather not have to turn that on every time I want to try this. Any suggestions? That would be awesome. Here's a URL to the pics. Now, the site he's talking about is youthedesigner.com. Did a series of 25 tasty 3D graphic design treatments, part 2 and, well, part 1. He sent me part 2. And there's some really cool stuff in here that it's like 3D text, but every letter on some of these has its own texture on it, and it's got some really cool style to it. Well, I actually ran across a tutorial a few weeks ago that does this exact thing for you. And it's in Computer Arts Magazine. You can find it at computerarts.co.uk, and they have the new way to create 3D text. And he actually, there's a PDF download and walks through what you need to do inside your 3D program and then what you need to do inside Photoshop to make text that has this really cool, everything individually done, textured 3D text look. And it's a really cool tutorial, and I would highly recommend checking it out. Now, the one thing he does talk about in there is he used a 3D program to model that text. And if you have access to a copy of 3D Studio Max, I would highly suggest using 3D Studio Max. Partially because that's what I used when I was in college. You could yet again do it in Blender, but some of the things sometimes are a little easier to do inside 3D Studio Max because it's a pay-for program. So I would suggest checking that out. Now, another question that's come in lately is about web design. We've had a couple people ask, like, hey, can you teach us how to do some web stuff? I don't know if you know how to do that. I actually just got done doing some freelance work on the side, doing this Flash site. And Flash is the type of web design that I have done in the past and what I know best. However, I'm also getting into CSS and all of the standards compliant stuff because, well, there's no Flash on the iPhone, and I would like to be able to actually go to our church's website when I'm away from my computer. You can check out our church website at iammark.com and wearemark.com. I think they turned out pretty cool, as well as my business website, vinmarkproductions.com. There's links on the website to all of these different places. Anyway, all that to say, I've done some Flash stuff in the past, and if you guys have any questions specifically about Flash that you would like covered, I would love to do some tutorials on that to help you guys get a basics of what goes on in Flash and why would you use Flash versus CSS or any of those kind of things, and help you get an understanding of ActionScript and the coding language that runs Flash. Also, we're looking at doing a series on WordPress and some stuff on CSS and that kind of stuff in the future. And if that's something you're interested in, I would love to know about that as well, so I can know kind of where you guys are sitting and what you're needing. So if you guys can let me know, that would be great. But just like these guys did, please send in your questions. Also, you can send in your questions via Twitter. So I'm accepting questions on there. I'm actually Twittering a lot more these days. I started just Twittering a little bit, and I'm trying to Twitter a whole lot more and stay in conversation with you guys. Some of these questions and ideas for this show today actually came in today via Twitter. So you can hit me up on twitter.com/CMDTV is my name, and just send me either a direct message on there or just give me an @reply, and I'm checking those all the time with Twitter Fox, which I would highly recommend to get for Firefox. It's a great Twitter plugin, as well as on my iPhone on Twitterific. So there's a few questions for you, but keep them coming. Well, this week's inspiration encourages you to look outside the box and think outside the box. Now, we do a lot of things on here, like using work lamps to light our green screen, or doing really cheap things like raising up our table on chairs so it's the right height for me, and all sorts of weird stuff like that. And we want to encourage you to look outside and think outside the box to get things done the way you need to get them done. Like I needed to get, just an example, we were printing out cards for our kids ministry. These were North Point, we're using some of their material, and they had trading cards. Now to get these trading cards printed nicely out of house so that we didn't waste all of our ink and toner, we printed them through GotPrint, and to do trading cards through them, it was going to be hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So to think outside the box, it wasn't that outside the box, but we went and we did an 8.5 by 11 postcard, and then we cut our trading cards out of it. So there's one random way of thinking outside the box, just in a small way. But one inspiration of thinking outside the box is if you head over to www.youtube, our video sharing site, Experience We, you will find something that's pretty interesting. Now there's a new game that's coming out. It's called Wario Land Shake It. It's for the Wii. I love my Wii and play all the fun games all the time. Now this game looks pretty cool. It's kind of a 2D platformer in the old style, and you shake it and that kind of stuff. But as you can see, as this video goes on, things actually start to burst out of the frame. And now the screen is starting to come apart, and you can see if we scroll down the page actually a little bit, you'll see how things are falling down here at the bottom, and our menus are now falling, and it's amazing. What they actually did is they made a flash page that looks like a normal YouTube page, and as this video plays and as this shaking occurs, it starts to shake the entire screen. And so it shakes it all up, and it's a special actual page. But the cool thing too is you can actually screw around with this stuff. You can throw things around. You can shake it up again and play that video over or replay that page. But it's pretty amazing what you can do with this little page. So I'd encourage you guys to check that page out and think outside the box. Well, this week's freebie is a series that we actually did a little while ago that I think would have some relevance to your church anytime during the year. It's a pretty generically named series. It's called Word on the Street, and we went out and we shot some videos and asked people some random different questions and got what the word out on the street is about some different subjects. Now the nice thing is I'm going to give you a bunch of different videos in this package. It's going to be a whole huge thing you can download. There's 4 different weeks of man on the street videos, as well as some worship backgrounds and some different title loops and all that kind of stuff. But the cool thing is you can go out and shoot your own word on the street videos and do it about whatever. And these have all sorts of different questions, so I would encourage you to check out and download the Word on the Street and add this free resource, and maybe a great series for you to do in your youth ministry or even on Sunday morning. So check out Word on the Street. We'd like to take a minute and thank our sponsor of WorshipHouseMedia.com, resources for the creative church. You can head over to WorshipHouseMedia.com and you can use our promo code and save yourself some money. You get 25% off if you use the promo code CMDTV1, and you'll get 25% off any of your orders at Worship House. Now, one thing I wanted to highlight is, well, you wouldn't want to use our promo code for this because it's already free. The guys over at Floodgate, actually Gary Molander and the other guys over at Floodgate just made a video about kind of the economic status of our country, you know, the whole bailout and all of the craziness that's going on in our country economically. They made a video about this issue. It's called This Is Not This, Where Is Your Trust? And he wants to give this to you guys for free. Well, it's for good reason. It's about money, and so it'd be pretty nice if you didn't have to pay for something about money. So we want to thank Gary over at Floodgate Productions. And if you want to check out this video, you can head over to the Worship House Media blog, or just look for Floodgate Productions inside the WorshipHouseMedia.com store. So check out Where Is Your Trust? This Is Not This, and save yourself some money on any other order with our promo code of CMDTV1. Well, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Church Media Design TV. Hopefully we've caught you up on, well, a few questions of yours, as well as a bunch of things that are going on in the church media world that are relevant to us on a daily basis. Now, I just want to say that this is episode 34, but it's really 36 or 37, something like that, because there's a weird naming scheme when we were early on. All that to say, I'm really glad to still be doing the show right now. I just want to say thank you to all of you guys for watching and the great support that you guys are. And I really want to know how to make the show better for you guys. So if you guys have any comments about, well, Brad, you're kind of boring and I don't laugh very much during the show because, well, you're a little too sarcastic, or hey, Brad, I think you should have a co-host, or Brad, I think you should like stand on the table more often, or Brad, you should get out of the studio, or any of those kind of things. Please send those in and let me know what you're thinking. You know, it's kind of a democratic dictatorship here, so whatever I think is best for the show, I will go with. So it's not necessarily going to change, but I'd still love to hear it. So send in your ideas and thoughts about the show. You can send those to me at my email address, brad@ChurchMediaDesign.tv, or you can send it to us via Twitter, twitter.com/CMDTV. You can send them in there, or just leave them on the website, ChurchMediaDesign.tv. That's also the place that you can go to and get your free downloads from this week, as well as the green screen footage for the contest. I want to say, please, 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 please be a part of the contest. Screw around with this green screen footage, even if you make a 10-second clip with all of the footage. I could care less. Do something funny with it. Post it on the web. I want people to laugh, even if you're making fun of me. And how about we throw in this? Make this a promo for the show that we can send out to other people. So make this a promo for CMD TV. Include the website. I'll actually put up graphics for you guys to use, a vector version of our logo and some of that kind of stuff that you guys can use during this video, but make this a promo for our show that we can put out on the web to tell people about the show and have it be hilarious with weird things that I'm doing. So be a part of this contest, win yourself a free green screen, and if you guys feel like that's not a good enough prize, well, let me know that too, because I'm open for feedback on all of this stuff. So thanks again for tuning in, and as for me, the three wise men and Jesus, we're saying see you later.